Alright, let me talk to you. I played Stardew Valley, but with a genie lamp. Now I'm sure you have a few questions, and I would answer them, but this isn't exactly my story to tell. You see, it's the story of a farmer called Lenny. Now, Lenny was kind enough to give me his journal where he wrote down what happened every single day during his first month on the farm. Everything from this point forward is entirely from his point of view. I'm just sharing his story. It all began on that one fateful day. After years of working in an office, being passed over for promotion time and time again, I finally had enough. I packed up my bags, left the bright lights of the big city and moved into a quiet, remote place called Pelican Town. My grandfather left me his farm in his will and, well, it's not exactly in the best condition as you can see. It was going to take a lot of work and a lot of time to restore this place to its former glory. I had resigned myself to doing all of that work by myself, when all of a sudden, I felt something pulling me towards the cave on the farm. Not literally, of course, it was more like something inside me felt like I had to go inside that cave. Perhaps against my better judgment, I did. Inside the cave was a lone chest. I opened it and read the letter it contained. Lenny, if you're reading this, then that means you finally arrived on my old farm. I know it probably isn't looking the best right now, but I've got something that can help you. You remember all those years ago I sent you a letter? I talked about a golden mask I found. Now that I think about it, I refer to it as a genie lamp in that letter, but it's actually a golden... It doesn't matter, okay? It's a golden mask. Anyway, it contained the spirit of a farmer who owned this very land long before I did. Once a week, it granted me 3 wishes. I doubt you believed me at the time, and I don't blame you. I wouldn't have believed it myself if it hadn't happened to me. But it's real. I promise you, it's real, and now it belongs to you. You can find it inside the chest you found this letter in. Use it wisely. I have been, am, and always will be so proud of you, kiddo. From Grandad Gamp. I pick up the golden mask, and as soon as I did, I knew my grandfather was telling the truth. I could feel the energy radiating off it, a soft yet powerful energy. And so I welcome you to join me as I tell the story about how I got settled into my new life as a farmer. And it was all thanks to the ancient spirit within the golden mask. The first day of my journey begins with a choice. What do I wish for? I've always been fond of fishing, so it only feels right that I wish for a fishing rod. I need a powerful tool, a very powerful one, if I want to clean up the farm and restore it to its former glory. So I choose the iridium axe as my second wish. For my third wish, I asked for the return scepter. I can use this item to immediately teleport back to the house regardless of where I am. I have a feeling that's going to be very, very useful. According to the note in the cave, I now have to wait until next Monday to make another 3 wishes. I chop down enough trees to make a chest and I toss most of my inventory into it. I continue putting the axe to good use, chopping down trees and tree stumps. I pick up the fish smoker inside the house, collect a daffodil at the bus stop and say hello to the villagers inside Pierre's shop. I introduce myself to the trash cans in town and dig up an artifact spot. 3 pieces of coal have been acquired, shortly followed by a horseradish. I consume the horseradish for nourishment, plop my chest down and embark on a fishing adventure. The advanced iridium rod doesn't really give me any bonuses right now, but I will get bait as soon as I can. Bubbles have appeared which increases the spawn rate of fish, wonderful. The remainder of the night is spent up here in the mountains. I have rather good luck with finding treasure chests. I find the following items while fishing. A geode, more geodes and rice shoots, even more geodes, rice shoots and a magma geode, gold ore and the prehistoric tool artifact, another magma geode, and bait which I immediately attach to my fishing rod. I use the return scepter to get back to the farm and go to sleep. I hit level 2 in both fishing and foraging today. I opened the box that Mayor Lewis left in my house on the morning of day 2. It contains 15 parsnip seeds. William has sent me a letter. He has just returned from his fishing trip and wants me to visit him at the beach. I plant my parsnip seeds and a couple of mixed seeds too before doing as William asked. He gives me the bamboo fishing rod. That is very kind of him, but I already have a much better fishing rod, so I very sneakily throw the rod in the trash. I sell a few fish and I buy 200 pieces of bait. I partake in some foraging shenanigans, first on the beach and then in the forest. The bait I bought today proves to be super beneficial as I'm catching even more fish than I caught yesterday. I'm also finding geodes, artifacts and other goodies. One of these being the magical ancient seed artifact. I teleport back to the farm, toss fish into the shipping bin and do a bit of foraging at the bus stop. The harvest is also bountiful at the community centre as I find a few daffodils. I collect more items from my chest and toss those into the shipping bin too. I make 10 spring seeds which I quickly plant and water. I do a teeny bit more fishing, toss more stuff into the shipping bin and go to bed. Level 4 in fishing has been reached and I receive almost 3,000 gold. Day 3 is a rainy day, lovely stuff. This means I don't have to water my seeds and catfish appear in the river. Caroline wants an eel. This is perfect timing considering they show up when it's raining. One of my trash can buddies gives me some cookies, thank you very much. I enter the museum, say hello to Gunther and make a few donations. I receive 250 gold, an ancient seed and the crafting recipe for ancient seeds. I make 10 more spring seeds and plant them along with the ancient seed. With 4,000 gold in my bank account, I go to Clinton and buy 30 copper ore and 12 pieces of coal. This, I'm well aware, is a very odd choice, but just bear with me here. I promise you it will make so much sense tomorrow. I spend the rest of the day fishing at the lake in the forest. The first catfish shows up and it embarrasses me. To be honest, I had a feeling that would happen. I can never catch the very first catfish that shows up. The second catfish also defeats me. This is pretty humbling, but it's okay. Third time is the charm as I defeat the catfish and get a chest with it. It contains bait, fire quartz and rice shoots. I toss the catfish into the smoker, that will double its value. So instead of selling for around 250 gold, I'll get a whopping 500 gold off it instead. After reaching level 5 in fishing, I gallivant to the beach where I catch an eel. This is literally the only reason why I came here. I wanted to get one for Caroline. So it's back to the river for the remainder of the day. When I go to sleep, I choose the perk that increases the value of fish by 25%. Clinton is here on day 4. Because I bought copper ore yesterday, he is now bestowing the crafting recipe for the furnace upon me. This is why I bought all of that copper ore yesterday. At least it's part of the reason why. After watering my crops, I turn my copper ore into 2 copper bars. I use these bars to make a charcoal kiln. I give the eel to Caroline as she requested and give her a daffodil which she did not request but is getting anyway. You're welcome. And now finally it is time for me to put my plan into action. I plop the charcoal kiln down beside a chest. You can put 10 pieces of wood into this machine to make 1 piece of coal. What I'm going to do is place the fish smoker beside that same chest when I come back later. I'm using the automate mod because I literally... Actually, wait, hold on. Out of character for a second. Yeah, I'm using the automate mod because I literally cannot play the game without it at this point. It's my favorite mod. What it does is it automatically takes items from a chest and places them into a machine. So what does this mean for us? Well, I've drawn a little diagram to help me explain. Basically, it means the wood I placed into the chest will automatically go into the charcoal kiln beside the chest. The coal it produces will go back into the chest, then a fish inside the chest will go into the fish smoker along with a piece of coal. And then finally the smoked fish will go back into the chest. Alright, I'm gonna get back into character now. Let's pretend that didn't happen, maybe? Can we all do that, please? After chopping down a ton of trees on the farm, I return to the mountains. For the 4th day in a row, the remainder of the day is spent fishing. I was hoping to get a weapon from a chest which I could use in the mines later on, but luck was not on my side today. I did reach level 6 in fishing though. The crafting recipe for the bait maker has now been unlocked. Interesting. Day 5 begins with a visit from Marnie. She is accompanied by a dog. I adopt the dog and I name it Chili. A letter from the Georgia Corporation confirms that the boulder that was blocking the entrance to the mines has been removed. I don't know if I'll go in there today though, we shall see. After watering my seeds, I chop down some tree stumps and plant my first mahogany tree seed. I chop down some trees, then even more trees before breaking the tree stump in the forest. I now have access to a little place called the Secret Woods. I think it's safe to say that today was my lumberjack day as I simply chopped down trees for the remainder of the day. Not only did I get a bunch of wood, but I also got a considerable amount of foraging experience along the way. And I was able to make quite a few field snacks. I choose the perk that gives me a chance to get double of any forage item I pick up. I harvest a few parsnips on the morning of day 6. Then I grab my charcoal kiln and the fish smoker from beside the mountain lake. I sell smoked fish and even more smoked fish and spend all of my money on kale seeds. It takes more time than I would like to admit, but I finally get all of them planted. Because it is a rainy day today, I've decided to spend my time fishing in the forest. What a surprise, right? The main goal is of course to get as many catfish as I can get my hands on. I've got the fish smoker working away beside me the entire time, so I should recoup at least some of the money I spent today. Mother has sent me some cookies on day 7, very much appreciated, thank you. I put wood pathways down around my field of crops. Does it look the best, aesthetic-wise? No. Do I regret putting them down? Kinda. Am I too stubborn to just outright admit that I regret putting them down? Maybe. I've made a few scarecrows which I plop down beside the crappie whoppies to keep them all safey wafy. After watering my seeds, I grab some fish and the charcoal kiln and I entered the mines for the first time. I introduce myself to Marlin who gives me the rusty sword. I wanted so badly to sell my fish and buy the backpack upgrade, but I arrived literally moments too late. It's 5 PM and Pierre is done for the day. I toss my fish into the shipping bin and I reluctantly head down into the mines. Is it too soon for me to say that I absolutely despise slimes? I think they might be my least favorite enemy in this entire place. It's not all doom and gloom, however, don't worry. I make another 2 charcoal kilns and I find the wooden blade in a chest on floor 10.
Day 8 is the beginning of a brand new week, which means it is time for me to make another 3 wishes. With absolutely zero hesitation, I wish for the hot Java ring. If you're wearing this ring, there's a chance for monsters to drop coffee or triple shot espressos. That speed boost will be so handy for me right now. I knew right away I wanted my second wish to be a new weapon. Now I could just give myself the Galaxy Sword or another really powerful weapon, but I think it might be more fun if I leave it up to fate. I've decided to spin a wheel. I've taken the name of every single sword and put it on a list. Whichever one the wheel lands on is what I get. You'll notice I included the rusty sword in this list. I will be so very upset if it lands on that one. Preferably I'll at least get the lava katana or maybe even the obsidian edge, that would be nice. I spin the wheel and it lands on the Meowmere. Okay, I can take that, I'm good with that. It could have been worse. It could have been better, a lot better, but I'll take it. For my third wish, I want a pickaxe. Again, I'm leaving this one up to fate. As long as I don't get a copper pickaxe, I'll be happy. I spin the wheel and it's an iron pickaxe. While I was trying to wish for it, I discovered that it's actually called a steel pickaxe. Good to know. After buying the backpack upgrade, I head straight to the mines. Speaking out of character again for a few moments, I want to talk about why exactly I decided to spin a wheel there. Basically, as much as I really wanted to wish for an iridium pickaxe and the galaxy sword, I didn't want to go overboard and really make myself overpowered at this point in the game. I figured it would be more interesting if I let fate decide what happens in a way. Also, still out of character here, because I wished for an iridium pickaxe and the iridium fishing rod last week, I want to make up for that. I can't ask Clinton to upgrade my tools. I'm stuck with the steel pickaxe. If I decide in the future that I want to wish for a new watering can or a hoe, and let's say the wheel lands on a copper watering can, for example, that's it. I'm stuck with the copper watering can. I can't upgrade it. Alright, I'm gonna get back into character. Apologies for going OOC here. Let's get back to the gameplay. I visit the saloon and I buy a few salads, then I return to the mines for the remainder of the day. I make it all the way down to floor 30 where I decide to teleport home and head to Sleepy Town. We have been sent a delicious 500 gold on day 9 and spring forage is ready for harvest. I make 10 spring seeds followed by another 20 spring seeds. I make the unfortunate choice to plant these on the outer edges of the field. I felt a rather strong and powerful sense of regret as soon as I did this. In other news, I meet Mayor Lewis outside of the community center. I'm sure we're all very familiar with this No, we're not actually. We're not all familiar with this cutscene. I can't say that because it's, that's not in character. This is so much more difficult than I thought it would be. Right, let me rephrase that. This is a brand new experience for me, and it's upsetting to me that he seems to be very unhappy about the community center being abandoned, and he wishes somebody would fix it. I feel so much sympathy for Lewis, and I'm sure he's done everything, absolutely everything in his power to try to fix the community center.
The poor guy is really struggling. I'm sure he's a great person and absolutely deserves the best in the world, right? I think I saved it. I think we're good. Nice. I give a coffee to Caroline and read the Golden Scroll in the community center. That might be a bit of a stretch considering I can't actually read or understand the language it's written in, so I have no idea what's going on here. After making it down to floor 40 in the mines, I make 2 furnaces before continuing to frolic around these caverns. I find a pair of thermal boots on floor 40. Sweet. Using a combination of the hot Java ring, the steel pickaxe, the Meowmere, and complete utter sheer willpower, I get all the way down to floor 50. The town's resident wizard has sent me a letter on day 10. He knows I went to the community center and he wants to speak with me. Yeah, he just somehow knows that I went in there. Alright, Joe Goldberg. I meet with him in his tower and he introduces me to magical creatures called Junimos. The wizard teaches me their language, which means I can finally begin gathering the items they want and donating them to the community center. I donate all 4 items needed for both the spring foraging and construction bundles. But I'm not done. No, I also donate a cave carrot, a parsnip and potato, an oyster, cockle and clam, a bream and a carp. Then it's back to the mines. The speed boost I'm getting from the triple shot espressos is proving to be an absolute game changer. I make it down to floor 70 before returning home to water my seeds as I didn't water them this morning. In hindsight, that wasn't the best choice I've made. I grab a few bits and bobs from the chest in the forest on the morning of day 11. Then, surprise surprise, I find myself in the mines. A skeleton on floor 76 drops the bone sword. I would consider that to be an upgrade. I'll take that, thank you. This new weapon makes the journey to floor 80 a walk in the park. I take a break from my lollygagging in these perilous caverns and ask Robin to add a silo to the farm. I donate everything that is needed for the entire boiler room in the community center, finishing off all 3 bundles. A frozen geode, aquamarine, crystal fruit, and a winter root have also been donated. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I spend the remainder of the day in the mines. As of this moment, my main priority is to get as much gold ore as I can. I'd like to make at least 40 quality sprinklers as soon as I unlock the crafting recipe for them. I make it to floor 85, bid adieu to the mines for the day, toss some items into the shipping bin and water my croppy whoppies. The Junimos repair the minecart system in the town during the night, and I made over 20,000 gold. Granted, I got rid of a lot more items than I wanted to, but it was worth it. Demetrius is here on day 12. He has an offer for me. He can either work his magic on the cave and have mushrooms grow inside there, or fruit bats will show up and drop, well, fruit. I opt for the fruit bats. The kale I planted is finally ready for harvest, lovely stuff. I make it down to floor 90 in the mines where I find the tempered broadsword. It has decent damage, I'll give it that, but you swing the bone sword a lot faster, so I'm gonna stick with this current one. I crack open 2 Omni Geodes, sell the mineral I get from one of them, and return here again later to open more Geodes. We need a total of 42,500 gold to complete the Vault Room bundle in the community center. This will then unlock the bus to the desert. I've decided I'm going to try to do exactly that, so I sell everything I get from these Geodes. The sale of kale and a few other things to Pierre the Platypus brings me all the way up to almost 38,000 gold. We're nearly at the magical number. I sell a few pieces of gold quality kale to go past the 40,000 gold mark before entering the Adventurers Guild. I've got numerous weapons and boots and things like that I'm not using anymore, so I sell all of those too. With 43,000 gold on hand, I buy all of the bundles in the vault room. I meticulously make my way further down in the mines. I found a weapon called the Yeti Tooth. I'm not entirely sure if it's better than the Bone Sword, but I'm going to tell myself it is so I feel better about using it right now. I reach floor 100 where I find a star drop in a chest. This gives a much needed permanent boost to her energy. The Junimos repair the bus during the night and I hit level 5 in farming. I choose the perk that increases the value of crops by a whopping 10%. The Egg Festival takes place on day 13. I buy 5 strawberry seeds, which is somewhat of a bittersweet moment for me. If I hadn't spent my money on unlocking the bus, I could have bought over 400 of these seeds. Only time will tell if I made the right choice. I speak with all of the villagers who are gathered here in the town center. Then the main event of the day begins. The egg hunt. I receive the straw hat as a reward. Suddenly, I have a very solid idea of what one of my next 3 wishes is going to be. But that will be revealed on day 15. Day 14 is spent in the mines, but I wasn't trying to get any further in here. Instead, I went to floor 60 and caught ghostfish and ice pips. If we throw a single gold star ice pip into a smoker, it's worth close to 2,000 gold. Now, the other fish that can spawn inside this level of the mines, the ghost fish, it does spawn a lot more frequently than the ice pip, so we're not going to get a lot of them, but at the same time I'll also take some smoked ghost fish. They're worth a bit of money too. The end result of the fishing expedition I went on today is me tossing a single gold star smoked ice pip into the shipping bin, along with 14 smoked ghost fish. Yeah, I wasn't lying when I said they spawn in a lot more than the ice pips. It's time for me to reveal my secret on day 15. That item I said I was going to wish for? It is none other than the deluxe pirate hat. My beloved deluxe pirate hat. No other article of clothing comes anywhere near this wonderful, majestic hat in my opinion. Just look at the aura it has. For my second wish, I choose the napalm ring. What does this ring do? Simple. When you defeat an enemy, they explode. Basically, it just turns them into a bomb after you've defeated them. For my third and final wish of the week, I choose the sweet gem berry. I take it into the secret woods and I give it to the old Master Cannoli statue in exchange for a star drop. I've also realized it's salmonberry season, which is absolutely beautiful timing. I maneuver my way around the map, collecting 31 of these magical berries. Then I get on the bus and I head to the desert. The Desert Festival takes place today, tomorrow, and the day after. This right here is why I chose to unlock the bus, rather than buy 400 strawberry seeds at the Egg Festival. If I work really, and I cannot stress this enough, really hard here, I could walk out of this festival with a lot of really useful and valuable items. The chef at the food stall prepares me a lovely dish using rare fruit and uncomfortably hot sauce. It gives me a luck and a speed boost. I check out the other stalls here. Harvey is selling his mallet, which would be a useful weapon, but I'm not really vibing with the -2 speed on it. Jody is selling seeds, tempting, very tempting. If I have time, I might come back here and buy these at the end of the day. The third vendor is selling strawberry seeds for 5 calico eggs each. Okay, I want to get, we'll say 30 of them by the end of the night. Marlin will give me 50 eggs if I reach floor 30 in the Skull Caverinos, so let's do this? I don't have the best equipment for this, so I'm nervous. Floor 1 is a monster-only floor. This could not have gone any worse. I power through it and thankfully make it past floor 1 without being knocked out. That would have been a very humbling experience. I have to admit, right now I don't think I made the right choice. I may have bitten off more than I can chew, and I wish, no pun intended, that I had just bought those strawberry seeds at the Egg Festival instead of doing all of this. Regardless, I push forward, determined to make it as far as I possibly can inside here tonight. I find a purple slime egg in a chest on floor 20. This one item is worth 5,000 gold. Okay, now we're on the right path. I jump down a shaft on floor 23, which takes me all the way down to floor 30. Marlin's challenge has been completed and we have received 50 calico eggs. Rather than leave the Caverinos, I decide to test my luck. I continue on and I'm glad I did so because I find a prismatic shard on floor 50. Right. Okay, you know what? Forget everything I said. I think I made the right choice. I'm glad I spent all of my money on those vault room bundles. I talked to Gil, who gives me another 50 eggs as I had an egg rating of 19. I think he would have given me 100 eggs instead of 50 if I had an egg rating of 20, so I'm slightly annoyed that I left the caverns when I did. But if anything, that's just motivation for me to come back here tomorrow and do even better. I use my eggs to buy 31 strawberry seeds. Jody and Harvey have both left the festival, so even if I wanted to buy the mallet or the seeds that Jody is selling, I cannot. Now, in regards to the prismatic shard, I wanted to trade it for the galaxy sword, but the stall I bought the strawberry seeds from is right on top of the spot where I have to stand in order to do that. That's really a shame because the galaxy sword would have helped a ton in the Caverinos. Oh well, we should be fine without it. The first thing I do on day 16 is plant all of my strawberry seeds. They take 8 days to grow and I still have to reach level 6 in farming. The reason being, you unlock the crafting recipe for quality sprinklers at level 6. So I decide to buy 100 parsnip seeds and 99 kale seeds. It dawns on me that I still need 500 gold in order to buy a bus ticket and actually get to the desert. So with a heavy heart, I say goodbye to a triple shot espresso and some salmon berries. I really didn't want to do that. I toss some coffee and diamonds into the shipping bin, plant a few seeds, buy 2 green bean starters and plant those too. Day 2 of the desert festival goes the same way day 1 did, basically. I get some food from the chef and take a look at Leah's stall. I kinda sorta want her weapon, but I'm happy enough with the Yeti tooth I have. Strawberry seeds are not being sold today, so the only thing I'll be buying from this stall right here are the spicy eels. I can save all of my other eggs that I have at the end of the day for tomorrow's festival. Marlin wants me to reach floor 30 again, so I do. Today went a lot more smoothly than yesterday. I think going past floor 30 and getting 31 strawberry seeds and the prismatic shard really did boost my confidence. One of the statues inside here, I clicked on it and it activated an effect that at first seemed really scary, I won't lie, but then I very quickly realized it works in my favor. The spawn rate of the ghost monsters has been increased. They're not too difficult to defeat, and when paired with the napalm ring, it's a very easy way to blow up the rocks inside here. I find 3 iridium bars in a chest on floor 39 and make it all the way down to floor 46 before leaving. I buy 5 spicy eels. Once again, I have an egg rating of 19. That's another 50 calico eggs secured, but I was so close to getting 100 of them instead for the 2nd day in a row. Kale has been planted and spring forage has been harvested on day 17. I plant my parsnip seeds in a different location on the farm, plop 2 scarecrows down and head to the desert festival for the 3rd and final time. You know the drill. I get a dish from the chef, check out stall number 1, then stall number 2, then finally stall number 3. Strawberry seeds are back on the menu, lovely stuff. I buy 2 lucky lunches, accept the same challenge from Marlin as the last 2 days, and long story short, I complete it. I find 5 artifact troves in a chest on floor 41, and I eventually find myself on floor 51 with an egg rating of 24. I was happy enough with that rating considering it means I get 100 calico eggs. That was until I realized that an egg rating of 25 would have gotten me 200 calico eggs. It's a bit of a vicious cycle. I get an egg rating of 19 2 days in a row and all I want to do is reach an egg rating of 20. Then I finally get the egg rating of 20 and I want an egg rating of 25 instead. Anywhoomst, I've got enough eggs for 78 strawberry seeds, which makes me feel better about the whole egg rating kerfuffle. Speaking of strawberry seeds, I plant them all on day 18. The desert festival has officially concluded. I guess in a way this means I have a lot more free time on my hands, which is good because I have around 300 seeds to water every morning from this point forward, so I could really use that free time. After taking care of that responsibility, I finally trade the prismatic shard for the galaxy sword. I may not have been able to use it during the desert festival, but I still have to reach floor 120 in the mines, so I'll be getting a lot of use out of it regardless. And I think I figured out what I want one of my next 3 wishes to be. I won't spoil it, but let's just say the galaxy sword is a vital part of this plan. I throw a few items into the bin of shipping, buy 20 salads, and return to a place that brings me a level of joy and comfort that is difficult to put into words. The mines. I pass out on floor 109. It's a shame I didn't reach floor 110, but it's all good. I harvest the cauliflower on day 19, shout out to the mixed seeds I planted for helping me with that one. I make 4 staircases and 1 more staircase. I then use them to propel myself down towards floor 120 as quickly as I can. They didn't take me all the way down there, I had to do a lot of the hard work myself after floor 110, but you know what I mean. Once I'm on floor 120, I open the chest and receive the skull key. The caverns are open during the desert festival regardless of whether you have this key or not. But outside of the festival, you need this key in order to gain access to that place. I enter the Caverinos and I immediately do not like the vibe inside here. I can't really explain it, but I just know things won't go my way today. So I opt instead to go back home and water every single one of my seeds. The mysterious Mr. Key has sent me a letter on day 20. He has challenged me to make it to floor 25 in the Skull Caverinos. If I had gotten the Skull Key before the Desert Festival, I think I would have already gotten this letter and thus gotten the reward for reaching floor 25. On the bright side, at least I know I can get that far in there now. And it should be even easier thanks to the Galaxy Sword. I buy some stone and wood from Robin as I want to have a coop built on the farm. But I miscalculated and I can't afford the coop right now. So I toss a few items into the shipping bin and gallivant around the Skull Caverns for a while. I sort of zoned out while I was in here. I have no recollection of doing this. It was only at around 1 AM that I realised I had gone well past floor 25. Mission accomplished, I suppose. I grab all of the iridium bars I have in the chest in the mines and toss them into the shipping bin before going to sleep. A whimsical 20,000 gold has been added to my bank account. I receive a further 10,000 gold from Mr. Key on the morning of day 21. This is the reward for reaching floor 25 in the Skull Caverns. I harvest the parsnips that have grown, which bumps me up to level 6 in farming. I'll finally be able to make quality sprinklers tomorrow. After that, I won't have to water any seeds anymore. I check out the cave on the farm. I find a peach, a spiceberry, and a blackberry. I donate the following items to the community center: a red mushroom, a ghost fish, 5 gold star parsnips, a cauliflower, a peach, a piece of cloth, a spiceberry, and a blackberry. I make up for yesterday's blunder by asking Robin to build a coop on the farm, for real this time. I donate a purple mushroom and a crab to the community center, then I turn my attention to the museum. I donate, just a few minerals and artifacts, then I ask Clinton to crack open some geodes and artifact troves. I make more donations to the museum, crack open even more geodes, and you get the point. The end result is a museum that looks absolutely sterling. I end up unlocking the achievement for donating 40 items. I donate one more item and do a bit of fishing. In my pursuit of raising enough money to buy the Vault Room bundles, I didn't keep some of the fish that are required for the community center. I catch a shad and a catfish, then I try but ultimately fail to catch a largemouth bass. Today must be the largemouth bass's day off or something because it just didn't show up. I donate the catfish and the shad along with a chub and a bullhead. I find a mussel at the beach and catch an eel. Like many other items today, both of these fish are donated. When I go to sleep, the game confirms that I've unlocked the crafting recipe for quality sprinklers. This might just be the single best moment of this entire journey so far. Day 22 is the beginning of the 4th week here in the valley. Before I make my 3 wishes, I have some farming duties to take care of. I make 53 quality sprinklers and plop them all down. Now every single crop will be taken care of automatically every morning. Let's get on to the exciting part, shall we? For my first wish, I want a watering can. Just like week 2, I'll be using a wheel to decide what I get here. It lands on copper. Okay, well, there's no sugarcoating it. That sucks. Especially considering what I have planned for this week. Speaking of that plan, I use my second wish to obtain an island warp totem. That's right, we're going to Ginger Island this week. For my third wish, I genuinely don't know what to ask for. I have a steel pickaxe, the Galaxy Sword, a napalm ring, a hot Java ring, and unfortunately a copper watering can. I have everything I can think of that would be useful on Ginger Island right now, especially inside the volcano dungeon. I'll give it a bit of thought while I water my crops. I also won't be going to Ginger Island today because I'd like to go as early in the morning as possible, and we've already gone well past that point. What I do instead is I buy beet seeds from Sandy. I messed up here, I won't lie. Allow me to explain why. My plan was to plant these on Ginger Island as you can get 5 golden walnuts from harvesting crops. For some reason, I thought these seeds take 3 days to grow. They don't. They take 6. I'll have to buy parsnip seeds before I head over to Ginger Island. In terms of the main farm, I'm gonna go with kale seeds again like I have been this entire time. I'm planning on planting 125 of them. Considering I'm inside the shop right now, I might as well grab the second and final backpack upgrade while I'm here. I make another 15 sprinklers, catch a sunfish and a sardine, and spend the night planting and watering my kale seeds. At the very last second, I remember that I have one more wish left to make. I don't know, I just give me a banana. Alright, yeah, that'll do, thank you. I harvest a bunch of kale on the morning of day 23. I have just received a letter notifying me that the flower festival will be taking place tomorrow. See, if I go to Ginger Island today, I'm essentially stuck there. I can come back to Pelican Town, but unless I find another warp totem, I can't go back to Ginger Island after that. So it's very much a trade-off here, and I'm leaning towards skipping that festival tomorrow. After buying 200 parsnip seeds, I enter the secret woods where I find a common mushroom. I also catch a wood skip. Both of these items can be donated, so I'm very glad I remembered to come inside here. And I found a moral which I also need for community center purposes. I find myself in the desert where I spend some time trying and then succeeding to catch a sandfish. I donate a moral, a coconut, a red mushroom and a purple mushroom to finish off the exotic foraging bundle. A common mushroom, a sunfish, a sandfish, a wood skip and a sardine are also handed over. I'll need a good source of energy and health for Ginger Island. 40 salads should be enough. I buy 300 pieces of bait and 2 cork bobbers from William. With all of the prep work for tomorrow basically done, I spend the remainder of the day chopping down trees. Day 24 begins with the harvesting of strawberries. Then it's off to Ginger Island. It's very early in the day, but we are on a bit of a time crunch here. If I pass out before unlocking the farmhouse here, then I'll be back in Pelican Town tomorrow, and I won't be able to come back to Ginger Island. I find 3 tent kits. I could use these to fall asleep and wake up here on the island, but I'd prefer to just get the farmhouse unlocked. I find golden walnut number 1 and place the banana on a podium here to get another 3 walnuts. I find another 2 golden walnuts and give one of them to the parrot. The north of the island has been unlocked. Alright, let's get our hands on some walnuts. I spend 10 walnuts to unlock the west side of the island. Once again, let's go on another golden walnut scavenger hunt. I use 20 walnuts to have the house repaired. We're safe. Even if we pass out, we're good. We'll wake up in that house right there. I spend the rest of the day getting rid of everything on the farm here. My plan was to plant the parsnip seeds so they'd be ready for harvest on day 28. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to get that done. I put sprinklers down and even watered some of the ground I prepared for the seeds, but then I passed out. With that in mind, I begin day 25 by planting parsnip seeds and an ancient seed. I extend the field of crops all the way down to the bottom of the farm and I plant all but 7 seeds. I find another walnut up in the north before heading into the volcano dungeon. Surprisingly enough, I wasn't worried about how I would get on inside here. I mean, a better watering can would certainly help, but my time in the Skull Caverns has prepared me for this. We're off to a great start as I find the dragon tooth shiv in a chest on floor 2. I prefer to use swords over daggers, but this one just looks really cool. It does a tasty amount of damage and it has a very high speed. I use it to get all the way to the midway point, floor 5, then even further to floor 9. I've collected golden walnuts, dragon tooth, pineapple seeds and other goodies along the way. As if things couldn't get any better, I find an ostrich egg in a chest on this floor. I enter floor 10 with around 2 minutes to spare. I grab a walnut, then another walnut and a prismatic shard. I utilize the shortcut to get back to the entrance where I head left. I find 2 more golden walnuts here. Day 26 begins with a fishing expedition. I catch a tilapia, a golden walnut, another walnut, a blue discus, a lionfish, a third walnut, a tuna and a pufferfish. I go through the volcano dungeon again. I find magma caps, dragon tooth, more walnuts and the soul sapper ring. With this ring, I get a bit of energy back every time I defeat a monster. I find a chest. I don't know what I was hoping to get out of it, but I'll happily take 10 cinder shards. When I reach floor 10, I use the forge to combine the hot java ring with the napalm ring. I use an emerald to give my weapon +2 speed. The crop fairy visits the farm during the night and sprinkles its magic on some kale seeds. I spend 5 walnuts to have a mailbox built beside the house on day 27. I have to do this in order to be able to buy the obelisk on the other side of the house, which I can use to teleport back to Pelican Town for free. I need 20 walnuts for that though, and I only have 11, so for the 3rd day in a row it's back to the volcano dungeon. It's the same story inside here as the previous 2 days. There were a few close calls, but my weapon is more than capable of dealing with the monsters inside here. I was running a bit low on salads at this point, but I've been finding quite a few magma caps inside here and they give a ridiculous amount of energy and health when you eat them. The main goal here was to collect golden walnuts. As long as I get to at least 15 of them, I'm good. And I do. After making it to floor 10 and leaving the dungeon, I gather an aquamarine, an amethyst, a topaz, a ruby and an emerald from the chest I left on the farm. I go back into the jungle here that we saw when we first arrived on the island. There is a puzzle of sorts that I can do here. I can't explain this next part without going out of character again, I'm sorry. Basically when it rains here on the island, a bird will spawn in either the north, south, east or west of the place. When you approach the bird, it drops a gem. You then place that gem on the north podium if you found the bird in the north, for example. Or if you found it in the south, then it goes on the bottom podium. Do this for all 4 podiums and you get 5 golden walnuts. I just like to guess where each gem goes. It isn't too difficult to do and it saves quite a bit of time. Alright, back into character. I'm sorry for how often I've done this. Before I go to sleep, I take some time to simply relax on my front porch. I take in all of the sights and sounds of Ginger Island, saying a silent goodbye as I do. Because day 28 has arrived and we are going back to Pelican Town. Before I do, I'm curious. How many walnuts have I collected in total? 60? That's quite a bit more than I was expecting. I'll take that. I don't think that's too bad at all things considered. And with that, I say farewell to this wonderful place. I return home and a field of crops greets me. I harvest all of the strawberries and kale that have waited patiently for my arrival. Then I ask Marnie to add 4 chickens to the coop. Hendry, Penta, Oba and Bron have all joined the family. I find a wild plum in the Batcave, sell my crappie whoppies, catch a largemouth bass and ask Robin to build a barn right beside the coop. I buy, just a bit of wood before heading to the desert where I spend almost all of my gold on 73 starfruit seeds. I get kyanite and esperite when I crack open 2 frozen geodes and donate them along with a couple of other pieces to the museum. Here are all of the rewards I've earned, not too shabby. I buy a trout soup, sell some fish, buy another soup and 2 cork bobbers. We're in spring, it's raining, and the trout soup has boosted my fishing level from 9 to 10, which means the legend fish can spawn. Emphasis on the word can. It didn't. Oh well, it was worth a try. I donate a puffer fish, a tilapia and tuna, a largemouth bass, a green bean and a wild plum. And that is the end of Lenny's journey. At least that's everything he wrote down in his journal. Personally, I think Lenny made some good choices during those 28 days. Of course, there are a lot of other ways he could have used the Genie lamp. He could have started by wishing for a watering can, a hoe and a seed maker and focused on farming. He could have gone all in on fishing, maybe get a bait maker, a smoker and a fishing rod. Or if he really wanted to, he could have wished for 3 statues of perfection. This item produces 1 prismatic shard a day, so that would be like 6,000 gold each day if he decided to sell them. Anyhoomst, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I hope you've all enjoyed this tale about Lenny and the Genie lamp. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one.